It wasn't too long ago that the NBA was a league run by whichever team had the most star talent on it, with the top-heavy squads being able to overcome their shortcomings elsewhere solely because of the fact that they had more superstars than their opponents. But those days are long gone. Just ask the Phoenix Suns. The league is shifting more towards balanced rosters and deep rotations than it has in a very long time. And with this shift, we're seeing teams with stacked bench units start to dominate, with the Oklahoma City Thunder and Indiana Pacers both going 10 men deep into their rotations in the playoffs, and then they ended up facing each other in the NBA Finals. This brings us to today's video, where we'll be going through all 30 NBA teams, and we'll be ranking the strength of their benches from worst to best. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but it also very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. Starting at the bottom and working our way up to the number 1 spot, we have the Brooklyn Nets. A lot of Nets' bench unit this year will be made up of the rookie class that they just brought in, and if there's one thing we know about NBA rookies, it's that they rarely ever come into the league ready to impact winning basketball games. Haywood Highsmith is a nice addition from Miami that they made as a versatile defender and floor spacer, and guys like Jalen Wilson and Day'Ron Sharpe have had good moments too, but overall this is a pretty weak unit. Next at number 29, we have the Phoenix Suns. The Suns bench was pretty horrific last season, which is a big reason why they couldn't even make the play-in tournament despite being led by 2 superstars, and now Tyus Jones left to go to Orlando, making this unit even weaker. Grayson Allen is the only player on their bench that would get minutes on any other team in the league as one of the NBA's best sharpshooters, but the rest of their bench options are either flawed wings that defend hard but aren't exactly going to help much in the scoring department, like Ryan Dunn and Oso Ighodaro. Then rookie Kamon Malawach will likely have some special moments throughout the season, but is way too raw to reliably be looked at as a positive at the moment. Next at number 28, we have the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors have been silent all offseason, losing Kevon Looney in free agency, and while they're expected to replace him with Al Horford in free agency, he will likely start at center, so their lackluster bench unit stays the same here. Jonathan Kuminga may also end up leaving at the end of the day, with him refusing to accept the Warriors' contract offers, so now they're left with Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, G. Santos, Quentin Post, and Trace Jackson Davis. All of those players have skills that can help in spurts, but all of them also have clear flaws, with none of them really providing much creation on the ball, and Buddy Hield can't defend anybody at this point in his career either, so it's pretty weak. Next at number 27, we have the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls bench is made up of a lot of players whose careers are trending in the wrong direction. Kevin Huerter was once a sharp-shooting, starting shooting guard for a playoff team, but is coming off of the worst season he's had since his rookie year, and he's never been a plus on defense either. Trey Jones is an efficient player, but there's really nothing he does good, quote-unquote, out on the floor, being pretty mediocre as a backup point guard across the board. Patrick Williams' offensive game is yet to develop even a little bit in 5 years. Zach Collins is one of the most overpaid backup centers in the league, and rookie Noah Esengwe is an exciting young piece, but overall, this isn't a unit that will be changing many games. Next at number 26, we have the Utah Jazz. The Jazz are another team filled with young talent across the board, which means these guys could blossom down the line, but in the present, they're mostly negatives on the court. Cody Williams is coming off of one of the worst rookie seasons we've seen in the modern era. Yusuf Nurkic is nearly unplayable at this point in his career, struggling to even stay in shape, and George Niang is a one-trick pony as a shooter from the outside, but he can't really defend anybody, and he's not creating anything off the dribble. I like Bryce Sensabaugh's ability to provide a scoring punch. Rookie Walter Clayton could bolster the offense, but will likely be pretty inefficient as most rookie guards are, and Taylor Hendricks is hoping to bounce back from his injury, but in general, this group is probably a few years away. Next at number 25, we have the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors are looking to make their way back into playoff contention at full strength this year, but while their starting lineup looks nice on paper, their bench unit has a lot of question marks. Grady Dick has had nice moments last year, improving as a scorer, but statistically he ranked as one of the worst finishers at the rim in the whole league, and defensively he's got a ways to go. Ochai Agbaji is a very solid shooter off the bench, giving them a surefire, impactful piece in the unit, but Jacoby Walter is still way too inconsistent to be fully trusted in a playoff rotation. Colin Murray-Boyles should be a rookie capable of making an impact on day one because he is a high-floor, high-end defender and interior scorer, but if he's not able to shoot the ball, it's going to severely limit how much he can do from day one. Next at number 24, we have the Miami Heat. The Heat bench looks good on paper until you actually look at what these players have done lately. Terry Rozier is completely cooked on and off the court, shooting the ball terribly last year while being a traffic cone on defense, and he's got a scandal hanging over his head that's being investigated. Jaime Jaquez started hot as a rookie, but last season took an unfortunate step backward as a bench scoring talent. Nikola Jokic is a useful two-way forward that can shoot threes and defend multiple positions, but isn't doing much with the ball in his hands. Simone Fontecchio is an underrated addition as a 3-and-D guy, but he's coming off of a down year shooting the ball last season. And then Davion Mitchell is the saving grace of this unit, coming off of the best year of his career, providing elite perimeter defense, a budding confidence on the ball as a shooter and shot creator, and the ability to operate as a secondary playmaker on the floor, dishing a career-high 5 assists per game too. Next at number 23, we have the Boston Celtics. The Celtics had one of the best bench units in the entire NBA last season, but next year the team is going to look completely different. Al Horford and Luke Kornet are gone, which means Xavier Tillman and Luka Garza are going to be playing more frequently, which is bad news. Peyton Pritchard is the reigning sixth man of the year, who really single-handedly carries this unit now, but if he ends up in the starting lineup, Anthony Simons still comes in as a capable player giving similar production off the bench anyway. Sam Hauser is a playoff-proven sharpshooter who may have more on his plate now, and Baylor Shireman is going to play real minutes after an inefficient rookie season, so this will be a developmental year for Boston as they wait for Jason Tatum to get healthy. Next at number 22, we have the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks bench unit had a negative 4.3 net rating last season, and the team is returning mostly the same group, except now Kevin Porter Jr. will be the starting point guard, so the bench may be even weaker. Cole Anthony was brought in to replace Damian Lillard, which I don't think even needs to be explained why that's a negative hit. Bobby Portis has been one of the best bench players in the league for years, but last season his defense went from bad to worse, which knocked him out of the sixth-man of the year race. Andre Jackson is a high-energy defensive guy who throws down a lot of high-flying dunks, but isn't really a threat to score most of the time otherwise, and AJ Green is a lights-out shooter that can get his shot off quickly on the move and heat up in a heartbeat. But overall, this group can't really defend anybody, and they don't stack up to a lot of the rest of the league. Next, at number 21, we have the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers bench has a lot of players that were good a few years ago, but in 2025 are shells of their former selves. Marcus Smart hasn't been able to stay healthy over the last 2 years, and the injuries have hampered his defensive impact. Gabe Vincent's shot comes and goes way too often for a supposed sharpshooter. Jared Vanderbilt has been a complete non-factor since arriving on the team, and Jackson Hayes can defend well in spurts, but still makes way too many boneheaded plays to fully be trusted. Jake LaRavia was a nice underrated addition they made in free agency as a 3-and-D forward that shoots well, and it's still way too early to give up on Dalton Connect, so this group will have more upside than a few others ranked ahead of them, but the health concerns and overall inconsistencies from so many knock them down a few spots. Next, at number 20, we have the Sacramento Kings. The Kings bench unit is led by Malik Monk, who has been one of the best bench players in the league over the last few seasons, and recently his point guard skills as a lead ball handler have been improving rapidly too. After that though, this team's bench leaves a lot to be desired. Keon Ellis is another rock-solid backcourt option as a lockdown defender that shot an impressive 43% from 3 last season, but Drew Eubanks was a huge negative in Utah and Los Angeles last year. Nick Clifford is a rookie, so he's going to come with inconsistencies as most do. Devin Carter's jump shot looked completely broken last year, and Dario Saric hasn't played positive minutes in a rotation in years. Next at number 19, we have the New York Knicks. The Knicks had one of the worst bench rotations in the entire NBA last season, but after making a few promising signings in free agency this summer, they're at least now closer to the middle of the pack, which is an improvement. Miles McBride was the sixth man last year, coming in ready to launch threes, and now they also have Jordan Clarkson to give the team another ball handler and shot creator for when Jalen Brunson needs a rest. Clarkson's definitely not as good as he once was, and overall is pretty inefficient, but he's still an upgrade over what they previously had. Gershon Yabusele was an incredible value signing that they made as a big-bodied forward that can play the 4 or the 5 and can space the floor and battle hard in the post. And then if Mitchell Robinson can ever stay healthy for an extended stretch, he's always a good defensive center to have backing up Karl Anthony Towns. Next at number 18, we have the Portland Trail Blazers. Portland has a mix of promising young talent and experienced veterans that should be better than they currently are. Scoot Henderson will likely back up Drew Holiday, but if he does end up starting, then it'll be Shaedon Sharpe as the sixth man, which still propels this group with strong budding talent. Matisse Thybulle has made a career out of causing havoc on the defensive end, generating more steals and blocks on the perimeter than almost the entire rest of the league, but on offense, Thybulle has always been a pretty big liability without any shooting or playmaking skills. Robert Williams has been marred by injuries, but at his best, he can be an athletic two-way force anchoring the paint. Jeremy Grant used to be a high-end two-way starter in the league as well, but last season, it started to look like he was just coasting and collecting his paycheck. So while his talent is obvious, he's coming off of a pretty bad year. Then finally, Jan Hansen is a rookie that's capturing the hearts of many, but is also likely a few years away from being a consistent member of the rotation. Next at number 17, we have the New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans may not have a high-end sixth man of the year caliber player, but they've got a pretty well-balanced bench unit with more depth than the teams behind them. Rookies Jeremiah Fears and Derek Queen will both look to ignite the offense when they sub into the game, but they're also both pretty turnover-prone with defensive issues that need to be worked through. Jose Alvarado is filled with a lot of energy and has solid passing skills for a backup point guard, but his shooting splits are pretty unimpressive. Herb Jones may be pushed to the bench for the first time in his career if the team is at full strength, because a starting lineup of DeJounte Murray, Jordan Poole, Trey Murphy, Zion Williamson, and Yves Missi seems to be possible right now, and if Herb's coming off the bench, he is an elite 3-and-D wing that can be one of the best bench players in the league, and Jordan Hawkins has a knack for scoring too, but he isn't quite consistent enough to vault this group much higher up. Next at number 16, we have the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets are similar to the Knicks in that they were a playoff team with a dominant starting lineup last year, but their bench rotation last season was pretty shallow and uninspiring. This summer, they have done a lot of good work to bolster this unit, and now they're at least in the middle of the pack, which is a huge upgrade from where they were. Bruce Brown is back, hoping to get his career back on track after 2 down seasons, but his best years came when he was playing with Denver in that first stint, and he helped them win a ring back in 2023. Tim Hardaway Jr. is also a willing and able volume three-point shooter who will benefit a ton playing next to Nikola Jokic. Peyton Watson and Julian Strawther are established contributors that cut hard and work well off the ball, and Jonas Valanciunas should be the best backup center that Jokic has had in years. Next, at number 15, we have the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons lost some of their key guys this summer, including Sixth Man of the Year candidate Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr., who we just discussed going to Denver, but they've done a solid job replacing those guys. Duncan Robinson is coming in from the Miami Heat, ready to take all of the threes that those guys left behind. Karis LeVert has carved out a long career as a bench scoring threat that provides way more creation off the dribble than either of the players that he's replacing. Ron Holland should be in for a breakout in year 2, and Isaiah Stewart dominating the glass and setting the tone physically helps as well. Next, at number 14, we have the Philadelphia 76ers. The 76ers bench unit at full strength is top-heavy with 2 potential studs leading the way, and then a lot of hopefuls after that. Jared McCain returns from injury this year, likely as their 6th man, and there's a good chance he could firmly be in the mix for 6th man of the year after the incredible shot-making and playmaking prowess that he displayed as a rookie. Incoming rookie VJ Edgecombe also looks like a stud that could help form arguably the best bench backcourt in the league next to McCain, but of course, he is a rookie at the end of the day, so he's going to have highs and he's going to have lows. After those two, it's iffy. Adem Bona is an incredible young shot blocker, but is also very raw as a backup center. Eric Gordon still shoots 40% from 3, but is a pretty bad defender at this point in his career. Justin Edwards is a promising two-way wing, cementing a spot in the lineup after being undrafted 2 years ago, and Trendon Watford could be a sneakily good signing they made in free agency at power forward as a shot maker, but a lot has to go right for this unit to produce at a better than average rate. Next at number 13, we have the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs will have an influx of talent coming in to bolster their bench unit, which is very promising as they start to bunker down and hunt for a playoff spot. It started in the draft when they were able to bring in Dylan Harper, who has legitimate all-star upside down the line, and as a rookie will serve as their sixth man backing up De'Aaron Fox. Carter Bryant also comes in as another lottery pick rookie that from day one will be locking up opposing ball handlers on defense and hopefully knocking down threes at least at an average clip, but that's still to be determined. Keldon Johnson's role has fluctuated a ton over the years, but even though his defense has been a mess, he's still a bucket that can get to the rim at will and create off the dribble. Then in the front court, Luke Cornett comes in from Boston as a long rim protector that knows how to use his length to alter any shot close by and block a lot of shots as well as a good backup big man. Next at number 12, we have the Charlotte Hornets. The Hornets have sneakily made a lot of great moves to strengthen their team as a whole this summer, and now their bench is pretty deep top to bottom. Starting with Colin Sexton coming from Utah as a former starter who will absolutely be in the Sixth Man of the Year race this season, being one of the most efficient volume scorers inside and out, putting up 18 points per game last season. They've also got Spencer Dinwiddie and Trey Mann in this bench backcourt, giving them a lot of shot creation, more than they've had in a very long time. Josh Green will likely be moved to the bench at full strength, and he is a rock-solid 3-and-D wing that does the dirty work and produces without needing the ball in his hands. Pat Connaughton comes from Milwaukee with championship pedigree, even though his game has been sliding a bit over the years. And then Grant Williams is an outstanding defender in the front court that has helped establish more of a defensive identity on this team. Next at number 11, we have the Washington Wizards. The Wizards have a lot of depth. They're just rebuilding, so they're currently lacking in the high-end talent for the time being. Their bench will begin with either rookie Trey Johnson or CJ McCollum, depending on which one gets the starting shooting guard spot, and either of them could be an elite sixth man. Chris Middleton is a vet with championship pedigree who will do wonders in the locker room, even if his best days on the court are long gone. Cam Whitmore is coming in from Houston, ready for consistent minutes for the first time in his career and could explode as a scoring talent. Corey Kispert is a budding sharpshooter, and AJ Johnson is oozing in raw athleticism, but he's got a lot of developing to do as an actual basketball player right now. Now to start off the top 10, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs bench may not be as deep as a few others behind them on this list, but they've got studs to beat out most. DeAndre Hunter is better than a lot of starting small forwards right now, coming off the bench for this team, having just averaged 17 points per game off the bench, shooting 47% from the field and 41% from 3. Lonzo Ball was a terrific addition this summer as a playmaking, lockdown defender that can give them a different element when he subs in for Darius Garland or Donovan Mitchell, as long as he can stay healthy. Sam Merrill is a sharpshooter, ready to get hot at a moment's notice in spurts. Then Larry Nance Jr. has carved out a long career as an energy guy in the middle that rebounds well and runs in transition. Next at number 9, we have the Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks may be more known for the terrible decisions they've made lately, but low-key, they're building a pretty strong and deep squad. PJ Washington will likely be moved to the bench this year with the presence of Cooper Flagg now, which makes him one of the best bench players in the whole league, as a high-level starter that defends hard and gives you an efficient 15 points per game as a shooter and post scorer. Najee Marshall is also a certified bucket getter, scoring a ton from the mid-range and at the rim. Daniel Gafford is a borderline starter at center as well, serving as a great roll man and rebounder, but now he'll likely be backing up Derek Lively. Then guys like Caleb Martin, Max Christie, and Dante Exum can all serve as reliable perimeter defenders and secondary playmaking and scoring options on a playoff team. Next, number 8, we have the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers just made it all the way to the NBA Finals thanks to their balanced production and depth across the board. Without Tyrese Haliburton this year, Benedict Mathurin will likely be moving to the starting lineup, but their bench is still amongst the league's best. TJ McConnell is a battle-tested dog at point guard who was one of the best players on the court in the NBA Finals. Obi Toppin is an energetic two-way forward that provides terrific value rebounding, shooting threes, and soaring around the rim for high-flying finishes. Jay Huff was a good signing as well to help replace Miles Turner at center, with him being a productive shooting big man that rebounds well and loves to throw down some reverse dunks for some reason. And then finally, Jarris Walker and Ben Shepherd will be thrust into bigger roles this year after a few seasons of development under their belts. Next at number 7, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. The Grizzlies' bench last season was actually one of the few bench units that had a positive net rating, meaning they continued to outscore opponents instead of giving up ground when the starters were out. Santi Aldama is a lot better than you're probably aware of as a versatile forward that can score inside and out, pass the ball well, and defend hard. Scottie Pippen Jr. emerged as a pretty solid backup point guard that dominated in the playoffs, scoring efficiently and running the offense at a high level when needed. Ty Jerome comes in as one of the most efficient scorers in the league that they just signed, and he's coming off of a 6th Man of the Year caliber campaign in Cleveland last year to bolster this unit even further. Then players like Vince Williams, Brandon Clark, and rookie Cedric Coward can all step up when their numbers are called to play a role too. Next at number 6, we have the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks are gearing up to be one of the league's most improved teams next season after a strong offseason filled with notable acquisitions. Signing Nickeil Alexander-Walker away from Minnesota gives them some much-needed scoring in their backcourt behind Trae Young. Luke Kennard also comes in as one of the league's best pure shooters and can give their offense a different element in spurts. Depending on how the starting lineup shakes out at full strength, one of Zachary Rissache or Onyeka Okongwu will be coming off the bench, and both players are tremendous two-way guys, with Rissache butting into an elite 3-and-D wing by the end of his rookie season, and Okongwu providing the type of defensive versatility that few other centers are capable of doing, defending inside and out. Then rookie Asa Newell is coming in ready to defend at a high level and use his athleticism to thrive playing next to the playmaking of Trae Young. Next, number 5, we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Wolves have arguably the best bench player in the league with Naz Reid, who has a 6th Man of the Year award on his resume and is honestly good enough to start for quite a few teams across the league with his knockdown shooting and impressive ability to create off the dribble for a center. Then they also have Dante DiVincenzo scoring 12 points off the bench, hitting 40% of his threes, grabbing a ton of rebounds for a guard, and always willing to make the extra pass. We could also be about to see Rob Dillingham take a leap in year 2 as one of the most creative players off the dribble who makes playmaking look easy at times. Yohan Berenjay is an interesting rookie center too that could be a high-end shot blocker down the line. Joe Ingles has a ton of experience on the wing, and Terrence Shannon is another young shot creator hoping to take a year 2 leap. Next at number 4, we have the Orlando Magic. Orlando are a defensive juggernaut that just brought in some much-needed offensive depth pieces to balance things out and make them even stronger going into the new year. Jonathan Isaac is one of the most dangerous defensive players in the game coming off of their bench. Anthony Black is a Swiss Army knife type of guard, filling any role asked of him, and Mo Wagner can score in bunches at center. Then, new free agency signing Tyus Jones finally gives them a point guard with actual playmaking tendencies, who happens to also shoot 41% from 3, and rookie Jace Richardson oozes in shot-making creativity on the ball to help things even more. Next at number 3, we have the Houston Rockets. The Rockets had a top 5 bench net rating last season, and they're still just as strong now with a few additions to strengthen them even further. Tari Eason is one of the best two-way bench pieces in the league as a versatile defender and a playmaker that ranks amongst the best in the league in steals plus blocks per 36 minutes, while averaging 12 points and 6 rebounds a night. Dorian Finney-Smith is a great signing who defends hard and hits 41% of his threes. Steven Adams and Clint Capella are high-end backup centers, depending on the matchup, and then Reed Shepherd will finally get a shot at consistent minutes this season after having been drafted in the top 3 of the 2024 draft. So with his ceiling still very high, this is a juggernaut of a title-contending bench unit. Next, at number 2, we have the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers have burned many believers in the past, but it's very hard to deny the amount of top-tier bench players and depth they've got at their disposal after an outstanding offseason. Starting with them reuniting with Chris Paul, he may be on the verge of retirement, but if there's one thing he can still do, it's run an offense and dish the rock, setting teammates up for easy looks, coming off of a year where he still averaged the 7th most assists in the league. Chris Dunn and Derrick Jones Jr. are defensive weapons that genuinely can shut guys down regularly. Brook Lopez may not be good enough to start anymore, but is now a backup center. He can anchor a defense in spurts as a former member of the all-defense team. Nicholas Batum still hits a ridiculous 43% of his threes even at 36 years old. Then Bogdan Bogdanovic has been a microwave scoring talent for many years, and he may struggle to even find consistent minutes in this deep rotation because of how much strong depth they have in the backcourt. And finally, coming in at number 1 with the best bench in the NBA, we have the Oklahoma City Thunder. The defending champions won it all not only because they had the MVP of the league, they did it because top to bottom, this is a ridiculously stacked roster at every position. Alex Caruso is one of the best perimeter defenders in the game coming off the bench. Aaron Wiggins is one of the best bench scorers in the game who just happens to play with a lot of other guys that need the ball because when he's gotten opportunities to shoot more, he's capable of scoring 40 like he did against Sacramento last year. Cason Wallace is a two-way role player that's just so smart in how he plays the game. Isaiah Joe can heat up from 3 fast. Jalen Williams is a triple-double threat as a backup center, and Nikola Topic is coming in ready for his rookie season after he missed all of last year recovering from an injury. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the bench units throughout the league. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.